Hello, this is Sophomore Astrology. My name is Sarah, and for this video, I'm going to talk about Mars in Libra. Now, be sure to like, share, and comment on this video. Subscribe to my channel. I'm on Instagram at Sophomore Astrology. And then also, too, you could check out my blog, and you can message me for a natal chart reading at my website, sophomoreastrology.com. Now, to get into the video, we're talking about Mars in Libra. Now, to give a brief overview of what Mars is a hot, dry planet. It is nocturnal, it is of the fire element, and is also considered, in my opinion, the most masculine planet because it is so overt and outright about asserting itself and really like going about making things happen. Now, Mars, it describes, depending on the sign in the house also too that it's in, it describes your physical energy and your sexual drive. What are you motivated by? How are you motivated? What puts the wind beneath your wings? You know, and how is that translated? Your physical, like your energy basically made to be physical. What does it look like in this 3D world, right? Now, Mars rules Aries and Scorpio, and that's good to think of and to kind of make a bookmark of that because it's important to remember that as we go forward that Mars rules Aries and Scorpio. Now, Mars in Libra. Libra is a hot and moist sign. It is ruled by Venus, and then it's also a cardinal air sign. It's an air element, but it's cardinal as well. So the reason why Mars in Libra is in exile or at a detriment is because Libra and Scorpio, the relationship between those two, they're in conjunction with each other. So meaning that Libra and Scorpio, when you look at the zodiac wheel, they're right next to each other. They're neighbors, you know, so they don't really see each other. These are people who are like strangers walking down a street and they don't really like pay much attention to each other. That's what Scorpio and Libra's relationship is, at least when you're talking about aspects, right? But when you put Aries, when you're talking about Aries and Libra, they're in opposition of each other. If you look at the zodiac sign, Aries is completely on the opposite side of Libra. And I kind of feel like when we're talking about Aries and Libra, we're talking about the yin and yang of relationships, because Libra is all about focused on relationships with other people, and Aries just cares about the relationship with themselves. So both of these energies are at odds with each other, you know, because Aries is cardinal fire, and then like I said, Libra is cardinal air. So what happens when you have these two together, right? And the thing is that you're kind of it's like you're putting a planet that is very self-serving for the good or for the bad, you know, in a sign that is very focused on others and relationships and beauty and how one is seen, you know. Libra wants to be socially acceptable and conservative. But if you watched any other videos about Mars or knows anything about Aries and Scorpio energy, Aries and Scorpio don't care about other people. They're focused on themselves, you know, and Scorpio has a very self-preservation about it. And then Aries is just self-motivated, and it's just kind of focused on its own needs and how it gets its own wants and needs, you know, regardless of how it's done sometimes. You know, which is not good in itself. So, but anyways, to kind of go into it further, it's like the thing about this, and that's also too why I want to make this known. It's like the reason why I took a while to talk about both Mars in Taurus and Mars in Libra is because when it's in exile or at a detriment, it's like the positive aspects of the planet is kind of like considered a negative almost when it's put into a sign that it's like at its opposite, right? So it's like someone with this placement might be motivated to almost kind of do the most when it comes to stabilizing their relationships, you know, and hopefully like by the end of this, you will be encouraged on how to kind of really move past this energy, because not everything in astrology is going to put you in the best light. And my hope is that you're encouraged with having a placement, because people could be very discouraged with having a placement that's in exile or at a fault or at a detriment. So my hope is that you will kind of come out with, you know, like a hope that things will be better with this placement, right? So to kind of get into it, it's like Mars and Libra, they're focused on stabilizing their relationships. And the way that they might do this is that they might cower to the ambitions and wants and needs and drives of other people, or it might flip on its head and they might actually be aggressive about how they stabilize their relationships. They might do it in a very overt, aggressive way. Because it's kind of like what makes it hard is that Mars in Libra is uncomfortable. So when it's uncomfortable, what will it do? It will either fight or flight. And that's very much a Mars energy, you know? Mars in Libra will not rock the boat if it puts them in disharmony with other people or with energies, you know? And then also, too, they might struggle to assert themselves sexually as well. You know, like I said, it's like either they will underdo and not assert themselves or be passive aggressive, or they might do the opposite and just be very aggressive. So it's important to really like give yourself opportunities to really learn how to assert yourself. And not only that, it's like, I think what needs to happen here is that there needs to be an acceptance that not everyone is going to accept you and love you for who you are. You know, the thing that kind of keeps things smooth and sailing is friction. Sometimes you need sandpaper to sand things down to make it smooth again. Sometimes you need friction in order to do that. You can't always go with the grain, because with that, you will never have that smoothness that you get with the sandpaper, right? So, and it's like, if you don't give Mars its opportunity to really like assert itself and go after its own wants and needs, regardless of what the group wants, then it's like kind of Mars will turn on you in that way, you know, and it's almost, it'll show up as mental exhaustion. You won't be able to think clearly. People who don't let that Mars energy just be, it will create resistance within yourself, and it will show up as mental exhaustion. It will show up as like you not being able to balance your thoughts and make clear decisions about what you want to do in life, right? So in order to counteract that, because you don't want that resistance to build up, because that resistance will be externalized and other people and energies around you will not want to work with you. It will create resistance outside of you as well. So the best way to do this is to just basically let go of the fear to be not disliked, you know? I think the thing to learn about Aries and Scorpio is that sometimes those signs are sometimes the most hated because they would rather be themselves than to dim their light in order to get the acceptance of other people, you know? And the truth is, we will never stop wanting other people to like us, but then it's kind of like learning to accept the fact that like, hey, if this person doesn't like me, that person doesn't like me. There will be other people who like me. I have other people who like me already. So it's kind of like, just try to kind of take in that Mars energy and be brave and courageous to stand on your own, even if people might not agree with you, if people might not want to still vibe with you. It's okay, you know? It's okay to have conflict. It's okay to have disagreements. It's okay to even have arguments, because at the end of it, you just learn from them, right? I think the thing that Mars and Libra people need to really kind of focus on, it's okay to set boundaries. It's okay to choose yourself over others. Sometimes that needs to happen because you can't pour from an empty cup. And it's also important to prioritize your own needs, you know, like a Mars and Libra, if they're on an airplane, might put the mask on other people before they put on their own. But that's what they specifically instruct not to do. You have to put your own mask on before you can help other people. And I think that's what Mars and Libra does. It struggles to put the mask on first on themselves. But that's just something you have to do in order to, because you can't save anyone else without saving yourself, you know? And also, too, it's kind of like Mars and Libra, because there's that friction there, you know, or not, well, yeah, because there's friction within Mars and Libra. Mars and Libra will try to counteract that by not causing any friction or any conflict. And actually, that's not the best way to go about it. You know, like attracts like. So you're going to have to kind of be okay with conflict and strife and tribulation within relationships, because that's what helps them grow and that's what makes them better, you know? So yeah, and then with that, if you give Mars its opportunity to really like, you know, have that conflict, to have that friction, you know, like sometimes animosity is what kind of gives us that drive in life. So I feel like you need to give yourself opportunities to kind of break from the mold. I think you need to give yourself opportunities to understand that, hey, not every relationship is going to be harmonious, and just let it be that. Just accepting that things are not going to be always harmonious and good and balanced will kind of allow Mars to finally breathe, you know, and Mars will finally chill. And in that happening, then it's like Mars will support your ideas. You know, your actions and your words will finally match up, you know, and the things you want to think and the ideas that you have, Mars will back it up with the appropriate action if you let Mars breathe. And by letting Mars breathe, you just have to kind of accept that not everything is going to go according to plan. So with that, I hope that was encouraging, because like I said, it's kind of difficult to have a placement in a detriment or an exile or at a fall. So hopefully that was encouraging. Let me know if it was in the comments. And thank you for watching this and listening to this. And I hope you have a good rest of your day.